Is your electric bill insane right now? Well, then you're gonna love meeting this jacked Santa, because he just saved your neighbors hundreds of dollars on utilities. Guess when he was visiting rooftops this December, he found solar panels. And it's just one reason I believe the future is bright. Really bright. It's tomorrow today. Despite everything you've heard, there is good news out there. Before we get to the shiny stuff, cut to the next timestamp if you must. What just happened that is good? Well, a high school sophomore developed a small satellite device that uses machine learning to detect floods. And if I were her, I'd start teaching it to detect swirlies. Elon Musk expressed interest in buying European budget airline Ryanair, so the next time he crashes a company, he'll do it literally. This purchase would mark a historic merger of the two things Europeans hate most. A company called 4 Patriots is finding success selling apocalypse prepper goods, not to be confused with pro-apocalypse company 4 Horsemen. They used to be called 5 Patriots, but someone learned about disaster response the hard way. The University of Hawaii has discovered a type of fungi around the islands that can be trained to degrade microplastics. They degrade through a complex process consisting mainly of fin-dom and spitting. Researchers at UPenn believe 3D printing alternatives to concrete could reduce our carbon footprint and our literal footprint. Perhaps we reduce humanity's carbon footprint through the creation of shoes. Unfortunately, 3D printed concrete can't do anything about when you step in 3D printed dog shit. To help us understand the impact of 3D cement, we have Vinny Vanoli, head of Newark's Esplanade Construction. Vinny, how would 3D printed concrete affect your business practices?
It's a big change, Josh. We've already 3D printed quite a few cement shoes, if you catch my drift.
You have a 3D printer?
Fell off the back of a Cybertruck.
Wow. Okay.
Look, my Uncle Tony, who used to work in, let's call it waste management consulting, he used to tell me horror stories about people looping their recyclables in with their garbage. It was appalling.
I mean, I don't mean to offend you, but you don't exactly seem like someone who would care about the environment.
If we don't get this rising Jersey shoreline under control, you'll be sleeping with the fishes. We all will.
I'm glad you're helping us all understand the urgency.
Yeah, but with all due respect, I don't think Alicia Keys singing New York, diatomaceous earth jungle where dreams are made of has the same ring to it.
I hope others will be following your lead, Vinny.
Oh, we better. Or else I'm going to be sending my senator a little message.
You don't mean...
Through his constituent portal on his website. I have been marching. I have been sharing Facebook posts, writing postcards. This is a moment. This is a moment in time.
Semi-legitimate publisher TechCrunch recently released a legit list of tech trends for 2026, including addressing the power needs of AI data centers in states like Wisconsin. But stick with us and we'll reveal why we should use that land for solar panels instead of watching T-800s leave the lot wearing bionic cheeseheads. All right, seatbelts and get ready to stare directly into the sun till your retinas boil, because today we're talking solar. For those that don't think a bunch of shiny panels are cool, we're rebranding solar to Fusion Energy Capture from Space, or FECFS. FECFS are becoming the least expensive source of electricity, nearly a quarter the price of coal. Much like the sun every morning of our species' existence, solar is on the rise. In Germany, solar power has overtaken coal and methane gas in the country's electrical supply, despite the nation having little sun or humor. Are they related? But let's frame these solar savings exclusively for fun people in exotic locations like Wisconsin and Tejas. In 2025, solar beat out coal to become the 3rd largest contributor to Texas's power grid. That's right, that Texas. With granted, that power grid. Being number 3 for Texas's power grid is kind of like touting Newark won the bronze for best New York airport, or going with WebMD's 3rd suggestion. But solar operations are also incredibly efficient to get online. There's no drilling, no refining, no shipping, no throwing seabirds into a dish soap jacuzzi and hoping for the best. In fact, by the end of 2024, China had already installed over 887 gigawatts of solar infrastructure, which is enough to power nearly 90 New York cities, or just the Times Square's Applebee's, which mysteriously requires its own grid. So, if solar is cheaper, quicker, and easier to install, why hasn't it been fully integrated into our power grids? Well, one major hurdle is utility monopolies loving money. Power grids are incredibly expensive to install, so it's often cheaper for consumers to operate off a single grid, leading to what proponents call a natural monopoly, which is also what I call building a nudist colony on Park Place. And the biggest reason utilities don't like solar are the same reasons it's so effective. It's cheap, available, and easy to install. How do we all save money by taking some of the load off these utility companies' 8 grubby little hands? Enter community solar, a workaround that helps local farmers and communities and saves you a ton of coin. Believe me, this isn't just some solar punk agenda. Here's how it works. Small, independent developers work with rural landowners, usually farmers, to install small-scale solar projects on little-used land, whether the soil is poor, or it's too hilly, or it's where the bodies are buried. Ask Vinny.
The only thing better than an unmarked grave is an unmarked grave covered in solar panels.
Local customers can then subscribe to their local solar project, like an Airbnb or Netflix for sunshine. Community solar helps farmers use land they otherwise couldn't use, and allows renters and other folks who can't afford home solar systems to benefit. No panels on your roof, no upfront costs, just a smaller number at the bottom of your bill. One place community solar is succeeding is Oregon, where it is important to note, hasn't seen sun since I wore a puka shell necklace and you bought your college futon, which I can't stress enough, needs to be burned. In the words of both Oregon and Victoria Beckham, I have no sun. Despite the fact Oregonians see Sasquatch more often than sunlight, community solar is a hit across the state with waiting lists on the vast majority of Oregon's 100 or so community solar projects. But I get it, Oregon is a weird use case. It's simultaneously wetter and crunchier than most states, much like Frosted Flakes in that regard. This solar coaster is a major economic win for rural communities, so it is getting huge support in some unexpected places. Case in point, Southern Illinois, where community solar lowers costs, creates jobs, and fosters some of the major FOMO from their neighbors up north in Wisconsin.
Hi, my name's Chad. About ready to hop in the truck, drive 8 hours from Wisconsin to Illinois to install some solar. I just move out of the state of Wisconsin and move to where my work is taking me. And that's not something I want to do. I grew up in Wisconsin. I love the state, but the job is available in Illinois, but not available in Wisconsin.
I know this commute sounds bad, but this man visits every house on Earth in a single night. But keep in mind, he's got to go down to Illinois every week, where Krampus lives. See, Illinois implemented community solar, but Wisconsin hasn't because its utility companies don't want to. Because once you've won at Monopoly, you don't want people inventing new squares.
I'm a fifth-generation farmer, so that's a lot to be proud of. I've been on this family farm since 1961. So if you got some marginal land, this is definitely the way to go. With the community solar, this is a way that we're going to stay on this property.
As a Badger, do you know how much that hurts to hear? Hurts as much as the 2015 NCAA Finals against Duke, or watching Russell Wilson say anything these days.
Mr. Unlimited.
But Badgers love unlimited power. So this is jobs, this is tax revenue, this is energy savings leaving the state. And I'll be damned if Illinois does better than Wisconsin at anything. A state whose only highlight is a city that is literally second best at everything. Their key contribution to culture is an unholy plate of 80% tomato soup and 20% burnt crust? No. You know why Scotties call these folks fibs, right? Free infinite brightness. Luckily for Wisconsinites, there may be a light at the end of the tunnel. A bipartisan bill is finally getting talked about in the state legislature, and despite heavy lobbying from utility giants and private equity, when there's consumer support, it's got a good chance of passing. You'll want to let farmers have a couple 2-tree solar panels in their back 40, and don't let those fibs beat the Packers again at anything. Not again. Not like that. And if you'd like to learn more about how to bring a community solar project to your neighborhood, check out Arcadia and WildGrid for resources and support, and Lumen Energy here on the East Coast. Let's lower your energy bills with local energy so it's one less thing you gotta worry about. And that's Lumen with an E. They do solar, not severance.